Spoiler warning for Honkai Star Rail up to the end of version 2.5 of Xianzhou's Trailblaze Continuance questline. If you have not reached that point in the story and do not wish to be spoiled, click off and return once you have seen everything that will be covered in this video. Disclaimer, the footage I use for story content in this video was borrowed from other sources. Here's the list of channels and content creators I borrowed footage from. Also, if I get anything wrong, let me know in the comments below.
What's in your prescription?
The Vidyadhara, a draconic species that descend from Long, the Eon of Permanence. They are biologically immortal. Instead of dying, they go through a reincarnation process every 600 to 700 years, discarding the memories of their past life to start anew. Each Xianzhou ship has a High Elder for the Vidyadhara. The previous High Elder of the Xianzhou Laofu, the Imbiber Lunay, was Don Feng. He would go on to leave a stain in the Vidyadhara's history due to the crimes he committed, and eventually, his next incarnation would be forced into exile. Before he was punished, Don Feng had already chosen a successor and passed on a fraction of his power to them. That successor was Bailu. Yeah, this silly little dragon girl has a lot more going on than one may first assume. Usually I hold off on the sadder and deeper stuff until later in the analysis, but screw it, this time we're starting with it. Due to her position of High Elder, as well as the sins of her predecessor, she has a lot weighing down on her small shoulders. Before she even hatched, Don Feng had already chosen her to be the next High Elder. In the companion mission, The Dragon Returns Home, she outright states that she's never wanted the title. We know from Yukong's voice line that Bailu has been worshipped as the High Elder since birth, indicating that Don Feng chose her when she was an egg. Since she hatched, she's had next to no control over her life. She's under the constant watch of the preceptors, basically bodyguards and educators to young High Elders. According to one of Bailu's voice lines, they don't even let her step out of the house most of the time. The restraint they put her under is represented in her design through the shackles on her tail, which were placed on by the preceptors to prevent her losing control of her powers. Initially, it seems clear the preceptors mean well and only act the way they do to assist Bailu and ensure her safety. This kinda gets thrown out the window with Talron holding her hostage in 2.5, but other than that, they generally have what they believe to be Bailu's best interests in mind. However, Bailu often expresses her frustration at her lack of freedom. If a child does not get to run about, how will it grow tall? Healers who read this case study, when will you release me? I am not some truly wicked ne'er-do-well. Why am I so closely guarded? It makes me very, 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 very angry. The only thing she was free to pursue was her interest in medicine. A lot of the people on the Xianzhou know her as Healer Lady because of her expertise in the medical field. Her unique medical science involves treatments that can only be provided by her draconic race. Although if Fu Xuan is anything to go by, Bailu's treatment can be as simple as having tea with extra sugar to help with fatigue. Yeah, Bailu wants to save and help lives, but she can be a little gremlin at times, which I enjoy. Her healer skills are well known even on other ships of the Xianzhou Alliance, as seen in the Quieting the Quillins, when Fei Xiao thanks Ling Sha for getting her a meeting with Bailu.
Sorry, but even a general needs to pay their bills. We don't do credit here. And let's not forget, you'd have been waiting decades for a chance to see the Dragon Lady if it weren't for me.
The fact that people from other ships know of Bailu's healing prowess and there's such a high demand for a consultation is crazy. Like, the Alchemy Commission in general is all about medicine, right? But it speaks volumes. Everyone seeks out Bailu specifically if they're able to meet with her. Let's just hope this supreme level of renown doesn't lead to her developing gifted kid syndrome later in life. She's pretty similar to Yangqing in that way. Despite their high level of skill in their respective fields, they're still children in terms of Xianzhou ages. They hate being treated like children and want to be treated like adults. Bailu is one of the youngest Xianzhou characters we've met so far, and I can't help but feel that her wanting to be treated more like an adult is in some part due to the massive responsibilities she has to uphold. She's set to be bestowed the title of Imbiber Lunay once she goes through the coming of age ceremony. Maybe she feels if she's treated like an adult and given the freedom of one now, she'd have a better handle of everything that comes with her high position of power. For as often as other characters remark on her medical prowess, they just as often talk about her age and how hard it must be as the High Elder. It's especially hard for her as the full power wasn't transferred to her. There was an error during the transfer, causing the High Elder power to be split between Dan Heng and Bailu.
The High Elder's succession was incomplete, causing her to become trapped in shallow waters. Fortunately, she has a vitality that does not bend to the will of others.
Bailu is constantly sneaking out of the Alchemy Commission. While there are cases of her using her status as a doctor as an excuse to sneak out on her own, like we see at the start of her companion mission, the rest of that quest shows how she became a doctor out of the genuine desire to help others. If there's someone in need of her assistance, she'll help them no matter what it takes. Bailu cannot bear to see people suffer, and that's why you'll see her with her eyes shut tightly as she cures ailments. That sentence in her character details is the explanation behind why her skill is RNG healing, because she isn't looking at her injured teammates when she uses it. I don't know, I just found that to be a cute detail. Bai can be read as white or blank, while Lu means dew. The dew is meant to connect to her water motif, and the first half of her name could connect to her unique medical expertise as her healing is almost magical. She's a white mage. What I mean to say is that she's a white mage. There you go. In real-world China, the word Bailu is used to refer to the 15th Chinese solar term out of 24. That solar term specifically spans from early to late September. During this solar term, the Mid-Autumn Festival is held. It's a harvest festival where one thing people do to celebrate is light lanterns that symbolize beacons of good fortune. You can see Bailu's efforts as healer lady as providing good fortune to her clients. Dragon dancing is also performed during the festival. Bailu is a dragon, so you know, there's that too. The festival is held on a night where the moon can be seen at its brightest and fullest. Due to this, it's also known as the Moon Festival, and one of the food items sold during the festival are mooncakes. The festival is also based on the legend of the Chinese moon goddess Shangyi. The title of Imbiber Lunae can be directly translated from Latin to mean drinker of the moon, so it's a very fitting title for a character whose name connects them to the Moon Festival.
But wait! There's more!
As mentioned earlier, Bailu was appointed as the next High Elder when she was an egg. Why in the hell would Dan Feng choose Bailu as his successor before she even hatched? Well, it's heavily implied in multiple companion missions that Bailu is the reincarnation of Bai Heng, the member of the High Cloud Quintet, whose death led to the group's disbandment. Remember, Dan Feng and Yin Qing's method of reviving Bai Heng turned her into a draconic beast. Dragons in the HSR universe have the capability to regenerate through reincarnation. So it's not impossible that after Jing Liu slayed the beast, an egg emerged from its remains that would become Bailu. Bailu and Bai Heng also have the same hair and eye colors. On top of that, the Bai in both names is spelled with the same symbol. I highly doubt this is a coincidence. The Dan in Dan Feng and Dan Heng is spelled the same between them. So we already have an example of a Vidyadhara carrying the same surname or same part of a name across incarnations. So yeah, Bai Heng got to live on in a way through Bailu. Now imagine Bailu getting invited to the High Cloud Quintet reunion during Jing Liu's mission. She would stick out like a sore thumb, not gonna lie. Everything we've analyzed about Bailu shows she's a pretty deep character, worthy of her 5-star status. It's great then that she only shows up twice in the Lofu's entire Trailblaze mission questline. I wish I was joking. After your short first encounter with her in Star Spun, Prescient Sprung, she disappears until you're saying goodbye to everyone. Most of her screen time comes from companion missions. I'm sure that with Talrun's introduction into the narrative, Bailu will gain more importance in the main plot going forward, but still, it's weird how a 5-star character shows up for like half a minute and then dips out for the rest of the plot. Sorry for the tangent, let's get back on track. This little dragon girl is pure of heart, but is shackled by the pressure placed on her, both figuratively and literally. Her healer lady status allows her to briefly escape that pressure and help the people of the Xianzhou. But even then, the amount of people who seek her out for her healing expertise and regard her highly for it must also put pressure on her. All those expectations are not healthy for a kid like her to handle. I have the hope that as she grows older, she'll have an easier time carrying and managing such great responsibility. I have no doubt that in due time, she'll be a great Imbiber Lunae for the Vidyadhara. But on the flip side, she does have a point. She should be able to enjoy her years of youth to the fullest before they run out. Thank you for watching this video. This is one part of a series of analysis videos on the Shien Show's cast of characters. If you want to see me analyze another character from the Shien Show, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, like this video to let me know if I did a good job. As a smaller content creator on the platform, engaging with my videos really, truly helps me out. Thank you once again for watching, have a great rest of your day, and until we meet again, take care.